Hey, let's talk fall resources. You've heard us talking about many different things. The Hope Guide, COVID 2020, fall resuming, virtual clubs, the Bible Project, YouVersion, and it all becomes a little bit of a mess. So let's walk through these images. I got some pictures for you. This is the cover. This is what Choose This Day looks like. And the best place to get that is on our app. So go ahead and download our app. You can get that on the Google Play Store or the iOS Apple App Store. And this is what it looks like today. We went back to a red, blue, and a gray color palettes. And so you can see it's the Hope Guide, Club Resources are really the two primary things that go on. Some of you all add trainings and events and different things of that nature in there as well. So just let me know if you want something added to your section of the app. Firstparty.club/hope is where that top button goes, where it says Hope Guide. Firstparty.club/hope. You can click, if you click on month 1, you get the whole month. If you click on Help, Overcome, Prepare, or Engage underneath that, you just get that week. And so the Hope Guide goes from planning your student meeting, the welcome, the promo, the speaker, the follow-up guide, all of those things, all the way to the follow-up. There's 3 steps to follow-up. The Hope writing team put a lot of work into making sure this language is correct for this year and really relevant and good. So go ahead and take a look at those 3 steps and familiarize yourself with helping students to do that. You will also notice that much like last year, the first page of every month is the meeting outline. The second page of every month in the middle there is the sermon or the talk that a student can give. And then if there is a third page, which every help week does have a third page, here this week is, or this month is Choose Forgiveness, and forgiveness happens to be the candy cane gospel. And so every month there will be a tool there for your students to learn how to share the gospel in a different way. Prepare week oftentimes has 3. Overcome and Engage week typically has 2 because it's a meeting outline, the talk, and then the tool each and every time. If you go over to firstparty.club/resources, you will see a lot of red, blue, and gray squares in there. First thing you're going to want to do is click How to Use This Guide, because How to Use This Guide gets into training your students and how to lead the club. It gives them the big picture about First Party, that they are there not as a Bible study, they are there to share the hope of Christ with every student. It explains their roles and what they do. If you're the promo person, what do you do? If you're the welcome person, what do you do? If you're the follow-up person, what do you do? And so walking through that with the students, walking through the hope strategy with the students, talking about speaker preparation, because what are we really doing here? We're developing leaders. And what do leaders do? They manage their time well, they prepare well, they learn how to public speak. It's leadership 101, the qualities of a John Maxwell leader right here in the First Party manual. So go in there, dig into this material. It'll talk about the adult support roles so the students can have a conversation about, hey, what can we expect from you as an adult leader with us? So we got a 5 stars club evaluation in there. Right there for you. What do we want? We want strong student leaders. We want trained campus coach. We want an active teacher sponsor. We want repeated hope cycles, and we want sincere salvations. Summarizes it very clearly for us. You can walk through that as a leadership team. So that's all there, and how to use this guide, firstparty.club/resources. If you want things individually, this is the same planning guide that you saw earlier. A letter and charter, a letter to your school principal, a follow-up guide, a lot of the things that are already in the Hope Guide broken down into individual bite-sized pieces. One thing that people commonly ask is, where can we get printable Help Week tools? Well, right here at the bottom of firstparty.club/resources is Help Week tools. You'll also see Prepare and Engage Week tools. And right here, this is just the example I pulled up. It's Choose Opportunity Month, and this happens to be the My SharePal app. And so that's a printable version of that. If you want that to get professionally printed by your print shop, all of those tools are in there. So you say, Brad, this is all great and good and well if my kids are meeting in person. What do we do if we're online? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Bible Project has for us this year put our Hope Guide online, bibleproject.com/course/hope-guide. It's kind of a mouthful to say, but you can see it right there at the top. It's not very complicated once you get the hang of it. And you can walk through and see that every month is in there. And if you click on a month, like choose prayer, I clicked on Overcome Week, and it's simply the Hope Guide in a very clear, just text. It's very clean, it's very simple, and it's a very usable thing to share your screen on Zoom. So if your student leaders are looking for something to lead on a Zoom platform, Google Classroom, whatever the case might be, I would head over to thebibleproject.com, find our Hope Guide, and follow along with that. You've also heard us talking about YouVersion, the Bible app. The Bible Project people, again, decided to use their connections with YouVersion. And so this is the logo for YouVersion, the Holy Bible there. That's what you'll pop up if you haven't ever downloaded YouVersion before. Go to the plans. So you can see down there in the bottom right-hand one, in the center, it says plans, home, read, plans. Click on plans, search for first priority in the top, and you will see 9 of them pop up, one for each month of our Hope Cycle. And so this one happens to be, the example I chose was Choose Jesus, and this is day 28. There's a devotional and a Bible verse every day. And they are really less of a devotional and more of a missional action. So there are things that they really kept it to doing something. It could be prayer, it could be meditate on this, it could be things of that nature, as opposed to, go sweep a classroom or, go do something physical. But it is an active thing. So it's a great thing for your club leadership. 30 days, they're doing first priority every day. It's not about the club. We've never been about the club. We've been about students reaching students, but we have leaned on the club. And this year, prophetically, God connected us to the Bible Project. They've put these tools in our hands, both the class on bibleproject.com and these missional devotionals in the YouVersion Bible app. And so those are all there for you. You've also heard me talk about story training. So, hey, we may not be able to meet in person, but how can we dig deeper into who we are and what we do? We can train students how to share their story. And I've been getting asked more and more, how do we do this, Brad? How do we do this? So you can take my faith story, the key word that's been in the Hope Guide for the past 3 or 4 years, and walk through that with a group of students. So train your students how to do that. We put together just a quick little packet here. My recommendation strongly is to not make this complicated, but to print off, if you have 5 students showing up, print off 5 of these keyword pages and walk through it with them. I've put a little talking point sheet to go along with it, but walk through it with them. Say, hey, when you describe your life, what one word would you pick? And you'll notice they're all negative. Go ahead and pick a word. Take a moment. Think about it, pray about it, pick your word. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say, hey, my word is this. And what's your word? Just share your word with us if whoever's willing to do it. Let's walk through. Why do you have that? Let's set up the background. What makes you feel that way, do you think? Obviously, there's layers to our human onion, right? But let's set up the background. And on a very surface level, I'm gonna say, hey, my life is very confused because I work with Mark Roberts. And so, that's kind of the background to my story. Just kidding. But, you walk through that seriously with the students and you help them in 4 points learn to share their story. So how has that changed? How did Jesus enter your story? And, what is the impact? How has that changed from confusion to clarity, or from isolation to community? And what is that thing? And you're training them how to share their story. It's not complicated, and let's not make it complicated. And we just have a certificate to go along with that. This is available in the City Staff Dropbox, in the Hope Club materials, just where the Hope Guide is, same place. And also what we've done is we've picked out this year the My SharePal app to do a help tool training. So we can train the students how to use a help tool. Number 1 is to download the app. I just looked for my phone for a second, but my phone is being used to record this video. And so type in My SharePal into your app store, download that app. You can see the graphic there on the page. That is what the My SharePal app will look like. And it's really a series of questions, and then it's a series of Bible verses. And so I've zoomed in on the questions here. Do you have any spiritual beliefs? Who do you think Jesus is? What do you think your purpose in life is? What do you think happens when you die? I will tell you that if you have 10 Christian students or church-raised students, and you sit them down in a room and begin to train them in this platform, and you start allowing them to pair up and asking each other these questions, you're going to get a lot of different answers. And so go ahead and train them on this and walk through this My SharePal with them. So you can see there, you get down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th, 7th line there. Could I read some verses from the Bible on the back of this card to you? And I'm going to pop back up here. There are a list of scripture verses. And after each verse, you ask this question: did that verse say anything special to you? And so you'll allow them to respond. And what this is, it's training the Christian students to not feel like they have to have a spiel, but that they can ask a really good question and listen. And these Bible verses will lead, because scripture does that, lead their friend to the cross and invite them to surrender their life to him. And so that is the other thing that's there, the story training and the help tool training. We're really learning that this COVID crisis that we find ourselves in, where we can't meet in person, or people are scared to meet in person, we can still dig into who we are and what we do. We can train our students to this My SharePal tool. We can train our students to share their story, and we can still train students in the hope strategy that is first priority. And we can equip them and certify them in that strategy and empower them to say, hey, I'm here to support you and help you. How can we help you implement this to bring the hope of Christ to every student? And so these are the resources that we have this year. Obviously, anytime, questions, comments, brad@fpofamerica.com, fpofamerica.com, and I would be glad to talk with you or work through any of these questions that you might have. So I hope this helps. I hope this trains and equips you to help dig deeper into the mission and vision that is first priority. Thanks.